Hello, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Alisa. And today, we're here to discuss the Earth atmosphere. So before we proceed to our topic, we know that Earth is the only planet that is known to sustain life in our solar system. One of the factors made our planet habitable is its atmosphere. The atmosphere is the blanket or envelope of gases that surrounds the Earth. The atmosphere that surrounds our planet is very important. It keeps us warm, it gives us oxygen to breathe, and it is where weather happens. It also keeps the overall temperature of the Earth fairly steady, especially during night and during daytime. So student, are you having your ideas on what we're going to talk about today? If it is Earth's atmosphere, you are correct. So our topic for today is Earth atmosphere. So before we proceed to our topic, we have these learning objectives. So at the end of the video, you will be able to differentiate Earth's various atmospheric layers. Second is you can describe the chemical composition and possible origin of our atmosphere. And lastly, you can explain the difference between the weather and the climate. In this slide is the description of the Earth's atmosphere. The atmosphere of the Earth is the layer of gases commonly known as I know you know it, the air that surrounds the planet Earth. The atmosphere layers has an important role in making life possible on Earth by protecting our Earth from the harmful effect of ultraviolet radiation of the sun. So in the description we learned that the Earth's atmosphere plays a crucial role in our living because without this, we might be able to exist, right? And now we already know what is the Earth's atmosphere. Let's move on to the next slide and we will talk about the atmospheric layer of the Earth. In this slide, we can recognize the different atmospheric layers of the Earth. So first, the stratosphere. Second is the mesosphere, followed by the stratosphere, followed by the ionosphere or the thermosphere, and lastly, the exosphere. So we have different layers of the atmospheric layer. The first layer of the Earth's atmosphere is the troposphere. Most of the atmosphere is concentrated near to the Earth's surface, within about the bottom of 10 kilometers where clouds are formed and the airplanes fly. Is within the surface or range is what we call the troposphere. Did you know that in the troposphere, the convection happened? This is when the warm air heated the surface, then rises and replaced by the sending current of cooler wind. So in this circulation of warm air and cool air, the clouds and the winds are formed. So basically, in troposphere, this is where the weather happened. This is where the weather changed because of the circulation that is being happened within the troposphere. And now we are done in the troposphere. Let's more elevate the level in the stratosphere. Within the troposphere, temperature decreases rapidly with increasing elevation, where the stratosphere begins. Most of the stratosphere, which extends about 50 kilometers above the surface, is cold and free of clouds. So near the top of the stratosphere is the layer of the ozone. Ozone. So the ozone layer is essential for our survival because we know that this ozone layer blocks the harmful effect of the UV rays from the sun. The break of the ozone adds heat to the stratosphere, reversing the decreasing temperature in the troposphere. Today, we know that the ozone layer is thin and almost destroyed. That is why the heat or the temperature we are feeling nowadays is very high than before. And now we are done to our 2 layers of atmosphere. Let's move on to the third layer, which is the mesosphere. Did you know that in mesosphere, most meteor burns? Unlike the stratosphere, temperatures grow colder as you rise up through the mesosphere. The coldest temperature in Earth's atmosphere is about 90 degrees Celsius is found in the top of this layer. So, based on this description, mesosphere is the coldest layer in Earth's atmosphere. It is mentioned on the description that most of the meteor burns in the mesosphere. So, why it is burned on the mesosphere and not in the other area of the Earth or the Earth's atmosphere? So, when the meteor travel in exosphere and thermosphere, they can travel easily because they don't have much air on that particular area. But when it hit the mesosphere, there are enough gases that can cause friction and produce heat. So that is why the light effect is what we can see, especially at night. It is what we call the shooting star, but it is a meteor. And now we already know the mesosphere and explain why some meteor burns on the mesosphere. Let's move on to the next layer of the Earth's atmosphere, which is the ionosphere or the thermosphere. In the layer of the Earth's atmosphere, there is what we call the thermosphere. So this absorbs a high energy X-rays and ultraviolet radiation from the sun and the atoms, turning them into ion with positive charge. The ionosphere reflects and absorbs radio waves, allowing us to receive shorter radio broadcasts from other parts of the world. The ionosphere plays a crucial role in long-distance radio communication by reflecting radio waves back to Earth, allowing from over-the-horizons communication. Did you know that different layers of the ionosphere can reflect different frequencies of radio waves, enabling communication over the various distances and at the different times of day? Did you know that in the ionosphere, it involves the formation of the auroras, which is the southern lights and the northern lights, which occur when the charged particle from the sun interacts with the Earth's magnetic field and the atmosphere, producing colorful light displays primarily in polar regions. So I know that we already know what is the thermosphere or the ionosphere is, right? So we can move on to the outermost layer of our Earth's atmosphere, which is the exosphere. So exosphere is the outermost layer of Earth's atmosphere, where it emerged into solar winds. This layer is mainly composed of extremely low densities of hydrogen, helium, and several heavier molecules including nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. We mentioned that this exosphere is the outermost layer of the atmosphere of the Earth. This is where they gradually transition into the vacuum of space. Gas molecules are sparse and collision between particles are infrequent. So as an example of this, satellites and other spacecraft orbit within the exosphere experiencing very low atmospheric drag due to the thinness of molecule glass present in this layer. This is the end of my part, which is the layers of Earth atmosphere. We already tackled the layers, the different layers, which is first the troposphere, second is the stratosphere, third is the mesosphere, fourth is the ionosphere or the thermosphere, and fifth is the outer layer or the outermost layer of the Earth atmosphere, which is the exosphere. So let's continue our lesson with Ms. Kirsten Rivera.
So let's move on with the next topic, which is the atmospheric composition and origin. So our Earth's surface or the Earth's atmosphere consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% argon, with traces of water vapor and carbon dioxide and other gases.
So we have atmospheric origins, and there are three possibilities exist for the original source of Earth's atmosphere and oceans. The first one would be the atmosphere could have been formed with the rest of Earth as it accumulated from debris left over from the formation of the sun. So in nebula hypothesis, there formed a accretion disk, and that forms our sun or our protostar. And as it forms our Earth, pati daw yung atmosphere ng Earth is na-form na from the debris left. So secondly is that it could have been released from the interior through volcanic activity subsequent to the formation of Earth. So after the Earth was formed, there's no such thing as an atmosphere. So it says here that it was formed because of volcanic activities such as the volcanic eruptions in which the chemical was released and it forms our atmosphere. And by means of interior, ibig sabihin sa loob mismo ng Earth, nag-accumulate yung pag-form ng ating atmosphere. So the last one, or the last possibility, is that it may have been derived from impacts by comets and asteroids from the outer parts of the solar system. Current evidence favors a combination of the interior and impact sources. So it only means that asteroids and comets have to do with our atmosphere. So it may be because of the impacts of this, and also the current evidence favors the combination of impacts of asteroids and comets, and also the interior, or galing mismo sa loob ng ating Earth. Let's now talk about the weather and climate. So let's take a look outside the window. How's the weather today? In my case, it is sunny. So let's talk about what is weather. All planets with atmospheres have weather, which is the name we give to the circulation of the atmosphere. So it states here that it is the circulation of our atmosphere. So lahat ng planets na may atmosphere ay may weather. Most weather happens in the part of the Earth's atmosphere that is closest to the ground. It is called the troposphere. Weather is a mix of events that happen each day in our atmosphere. Even though there's only one atmosphere on Earth, the weather isn't the same all around the world. Weather is different in different parts of the world and changes over minutes, hours, days, and weeks. So for example, I'm here in Nueva Ecija and the weather here is sunny. And going to Cavite, the weather there is rainy. It could change in different parts of the world. And it could also change over minutes, hours, days, and weeks because it is short term. The weather is short term. Always remember that the weather is short term only. So, in conclusion, the weather is a condition of Earth's atmosphere at a given time and space. And it is what you see outside on any particular day. So, yun lang ang tatandaan nyo. It is what you see outside on any particular day. So, here are the examples of weather. We have the sunny. If you see Mr. Sun, then it is sunny. If you see drops of rain, then it is rainy. And if you see the swinging of leaves on a tree, then it is windy. And if you barely see nothing, or if you barely see anything, then it is foggy. And if you think that it is more cloudy than today, then it is cloudy. And also, cloudy is dark clouds. Looking back, recall what happened when Typhoon Yolanda hit eastern Visayas in November 2013. Where did it cause the most damage? It caused the most damage in Tacloban Leyte, right? And how was the weather when the super typhoon came? So, it is pouring heavily and it is very windy and also foggy. And also cloudy. You don't see Mr. Sun. However, climate is a term used to refer to the effects of the atmosphere that last through decades and centuries. So kanina, sabi natin, ang weather refers to short-term changes in the atmosphere. While here, climate, it lasts through decades and centuries. It is long period of time in specific area. Different regions can have different climates. So just like in weather, different regions can have different climates. Kagaya na nga lang kapag nasa ibang bansa, syempre napakalamig doon, nag-snow pa. Pero sa Pilipinas, wala naman tayong snow, so mainit lang sa atin. There are four examples of climate. The dry or the hot and dry climate with little vegetation. So ito yung parang matagtuyot na. Tropical, wet and hot climate with monsoon seasons. Tropical, ito, uso dito yung beach, ganon. Polar, cold and dry climate year-long. In tundra areas, there can be plenty of wildlife and vegetation. So ito naman yung sobrang lamig na, so nag-yelo na yung paligid, ganyan. Mild, warm summers and mild winters. So here's one way to visualize what weather and climate differentiates. Weather tells you what to wear each day and climate tells you what type of clothes to have in your closet. And based on that, ang mga susuot lang natin ay, for example, ngayon ay maaraw kaya magsasana tayo. Kinabukasan ay uulan kaya malamig, kaya magsusuot tayo ng jacket. If you live in countries such as in the Philippines, we only have weather that has two seasons, the wet and dry seasons. So sa climate naman, for example, nakatira tayo sa northern part of our earth, and sa part na yun is so super lamig talaga. So ang mga nasa closet mo lang is puro jacket, puro leggings, puro jogging pants, puro scarf, what do you have? Socks and gloves and earmuffs and many more. Yung mga panlamig. So that's all. Thank you for listening.